What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back on a Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Sun and today's challenge will be can I beat Pokemon Sun Hardcore Nuzlocke using only shiny steel type Pokemon. Now this will be our last video, actually the last possible video of 2022, so let's make it the best one we can. I'm on a great move. You guys actually made my entire year by getting me to 40,000 subscribers. At the start of the year, that was my goal initially, and throughout the year I was like, wow, this goal is not possible, but at the end we really hit a lot of spikes. And with the new release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, really helped me catapult into 40,000. So I want to say thank you so much for supporting my channel. And it means a lot to me because it's not just my accomplishment, it's a community accomplishment. We made it this far, we made the channel this big. Let's get into the rule set of this challenge video. It's obviously going to be a Hardcore Nuzlocke, so Hardcore Nuzlocke rules on the screen right now. I'm only able to catch the first shiny steel type Pokemon in the route, of course. And if they ever faint at any point during my run, that means they'll be dead. There is a death counter on the bottom left for you guys to keep track of it, and we're unable to use that Pokemon for the rest of the run. Since we're playing on Pokemon Sun, there's no gyms, but there will be a level cap based on each Kahuna of the island. And as well, we can use items inside of battle. You can use hell items, but you can't use bag items such as potions and elixirs. And one added rule that I always like to add in each of my videos, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon in my future challenge video, just drop it in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And let's get into the challenge video itself. Final video of 2022. It's feeling good. Start off the game, there's no steel type starter Pokemon for us to get, so we actually head into Route 1 in the Pokemon School. We're able to hunt down a new Pokemon in here called Magnemite. Magnemite is a steel and electric type Pokemon, and surprisingly we found this pretty fast and we're able to actually catch it, add it to our team as our technically starter Pokemon for this run. Magnemite is actually a really nice Pokemon to have because it's actually very good defensively and offensively. As we're going to head into the very first totem in the game, we're going to face off against this Gumshoes. This Gumshoes is going to be a pure normal type Pokemon, and I do get paralyzed on it. But unfortunately, since they're totem Pokemon, they still call for help even though they're paralyzed. That's something I learned from my previous Sun and Moon challenge video. The wild Pokemon you actually encountered can call in SOS if they had a status. I swear I've done some hunting where the wild Pokemon was status and they call for an SOS encounter, but maybe I was wrong. But anyways, from here we're going to use a bunch of Magnum Bombs and also Thundershock against this Gumshoes. I don't know why Magnum Bomb did less damage than Thundershock. Can someone explain that to me? I might be confusing. I'm pretty sure Magnum Bomb has higher power. But from there, we're able to beat down the Gumshoes. Actually, we stay in the same area. We actually search out in Verdant Cavern for our next shiny Pokemon. In here, you're able to find ourselves a Diglett. Diglett's giving me a ground and steel type Pokemon, and we're able to shiny hunt for it and get it on our team. A Alolan Diglett is actually a very nice Pokemon. It's very fast and also it has a pretty versatile move. Now, unfortunately though, we're going to face off against Hala next. Hala's going to be the Kahuna of the game, and let me slow it down for you real quick. I've attempted this 6 different times, and each of the times it's gone bad for me because Hala actually is a game breaker. Hala is the end boss of the entire run basically. I haven't had a single run that's gone through Hala. But for this run specifically, I actually didn't want to start off with Diglett. I want to start with my Magnemite to Thunder Wave into the Mankey. And unfortunately, Mankey does get a hit off of me as I actually re-paralyze it once I use a full heal. I'm able to switch out into my Diglett, get it paralyzed 3 times in a row. I know my Diglett can survive 1 attack, but 3 paralyzes in a row at full HP. I'm able to magnitude knock out the Mankey in 1 shot. And then the Crab Brawler, I'm really hoping I could survive a Z move, which I'm pretty sure I don't, even though I have more defensive EVs this time around. But lucky enough, it went for a Leer out of all the moves it could use. So I'm able to magnitude twice into him and knock him out. And that will actually work out for me as I'm able to get a magnitude 8 against the Makuhita and 1-shot it. As I'm able to beat down Hala, finally beat down Hala and move on into the second island of the game. So that is gross how Hala actually stalled my entire runs as I had to keep restarting and also keep shiny hunting my Pokemon again. From there, we're able to face off against the Wishy-Washy Totem. Wishy-Washy Totem is giving me the water type totem in the game, and since we're also a Magnemite that's electric type, this totem should be pretty easy as we're able to Thunder Wave into him and he's gonna end up using Soak on me. Now his water type moves are way weaker than they should be as I'm able to Thundershock into him 3 different times and knock him out, and also knock out his SOS encounter as we're able to beat down the water totem pretty easily. Now what is even easier is actually going to the fire totem. Even though we're steel types, my Diglett is part ground type and is able to 1-shot most of the Pokemon in here with magnitudes, and then we're able to face off against the Totem Salazzle, which is going to be a poison and fire type, which is 4 times weak to ground type moves. Is basically setting up for us to beat him down as we're able to get a magnitude 7 against the Salazzle and then end up one-shotting down a Salasso, end up beating down the Fire Totem, evolving our Alolan Diglett into a Dugtrio, which is going to be super amazing because our next trial we're going to face off against a horrendous Grass type Totem, and we're going to face off against the Lurantis here. This Lurantis is pretty powerful, as we're able to get a Thunder Wave off against him. No, we don't. We get it. Of course he dodges. Second time around, we get a Thunder Wave off against him, and he's paralyzed now. We also break through Confusion and get a Thunder Wave against the Trumbeak, and luckily enough, it didn't pluck me in time to get my berry. I'm able to get a Mirror Shot off against Lurantis and get his accuracy down pretty well. Now that the Trumbeak actually screeched me and I'm at yellow HP, I'm pretty sure it's going to one-shot me with obviously Solar Blade, so I decided to switch out into my Dugtrio as the Trumbeak went for a Screech again, and now I'm pretty sure my Dugtrio is in range as well. I decided to just attack down a Lurantis, and surprisingly enough, I get very lucky. I think this is 4 different paralyzes in a row, as this Lurantis is unable to actually break through the paralysis, as I'm able to knock him down with my Dugtrio's Metal Claw, and then from there I'm able to one-shot into the Trumbeak, knock him out, and we're able to beat down a Grass type Totem pretty easily. Somehow we got that lucky, and from there we have access into the Hala outskirts, which we're able to search out for our next shiny Pokemon. In here we're able to shiny hunt for a Nosepass. Now Nosepass isn't actually a Steel type Pokemon just yet. It evolves eventually into a Steel type Pokemon, so we're going to allow it on our team, as it's actually a pretty cool shiny. As you can see, it's a golden Nosepass, and we're able to catch it with a quick ball and then move out into the town over here. We got the Eviolite, and we also gonna get ourselves a Cover Fossil. Now I made the mistake of thinking that a Cover Fossil is actually an Armor Fossil. I thought we're getting Shieldon, and unfortunately I went to revive it and I went to try to shiny hunt for it. It's a Tortuga. I meant to get the Armor Fossil, which means I meant to play on Pokemon Moon, but I'm so far deep into this that I can't restart. So I actually messed up really big here playing on Pokemon Sun. So that is a big whoops for me. So I had to do some research and I realized that I got the wrong version. Fossils I have for this game are going to be Cranidos and also Tortuga, opposed to Shieldon and Arkin in Pokemon Moon. So I really messed up over there. But from there, we're going to face up against Olivia next. Olivia is going to be the rock type Kahuna of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Magnemite. Now, Magnemite actually is pretty good, as I'm able to Thunder Wave into the Nosepass and then Mirror Shot twice into him to knock him out. Pretty easy. Her next Pokemon was going to be a Boulder, as I'm able to two-shot it as well. And then her next Pokemon, her final Pokemon, will be a Lichen Rock, which I'm pretty scared of its Z-move, as I was pretty certain my Magnemite was able to survive one. Not after a bite and flinch against him, so I'm able to switch out into my Nosepass, which takes a Z Continental Crush. Considering it actually ends up being a crit, I do have an Eviolite on my Nosepass. I'm able to actually rest off the damage and then switch out into my Dugtrio to knock him out, as we're able to beat down Olivia and gain more levels into our level cap. From there, we're going to head into Route 10, I believe, right outside of Mount Hukalani. We're able to search out for our next Steel-type shiny Pokemon in the grass here. There's only one Steel-type Pokemon available for us in this route, and it's going to be a shiny Skarmory. Shiny Skarmory's never been my favorite looking shiny, but it's a pretty serviceable shiny Pokemon, as we're able to add it to our team. Skarmory's just a really good Pokemon anyways. But from there, we're going to head into the Electric Trial next, and I keep shocking Sophocles, which is the funny part. But from there, we're going to face off against the Vikavolt Totem in the game. We're going to start the battle off against it using my Dugtrio, and we're able to Rock to it pretty easily and just knock him out. He does not have a single move to hit me. The Charger Bug actually has more moves to hit me than the Vikavolt itself. We're able to knock down both Pokemon and finish through the Electric Trial, which isn't too difficult at all. From there, since we caught Skarmory on Route 10, we're able to go out into Mount Hukalani and go into the grass and start searching out for our next Steel-type Pokemon. The only other Steel-type Pokemon that we can encounter that's not going to be a Skarmory, because that counts as a Dusclops, we're able to encounter ourselves a shiny Beldum, which is amazing. Steel-type with some gold around it. Such a beautiful shiny. Somehow, I got this lucky Quick Ball. I was prepared to do some damage and spent a lot of time catching it. One Quick Ball catches it, captured it, added to my team. Exactly like that. That's insane. From there, we actually go into Tapu Village, and this is where I realized that I messed up big time. Not only did I miss out on Shieldon, I also missed out on Sandrew. Alolan Sandrew is an Ice and Steel type Pokemon. I'm playing on Sun, and Sun has Vulpix, which I thought it had Sandrew. I didn't know it had Alolan Vulpix, so I really messed up again. Pokemon Moon, I thought Pokemon Moon would have Ninetales, not Pokemon Sun, so I really messed that. I've been messing up this challenge video. But from there, we're going to face off against the hardest totem in my opinion, which is going to be the ghost type totem of the game. We're going to start the battle off against the Mimikyu using my Magneton to Volt Switch, break his disguise, and also not risk my Magneton. I'm going to switch out into my Skarmory next. Skarmory does not have a lot of great moves, I'm not going to lie. I go for a Steel Wing, does a lot of damage to him, but I'm at low HP at this point. It can knock me out with a Shadow Claw. So I have some tough choices to make. I go out into my Dugtrio. I lower the speed of the Mimikyu at the very least, as I decided to go out into my Nosepass next. Nosepass is able to Rock Blast into the Mimikyu multiple times and survive a lot of hits from it using his Eviolite, and eventually Rock Blast is able to knock out the Mimikyu. I don't know if this counts as cheating because it's not a Steel type Pokemon, but it's going to evolve into a Steel type Pokemon. I'll let the comments decide if it's cheating or not, but I am able to knock out the Haunter using my Magneton, and I'm able to knock out the Ghost Trial pretty easily. So from there, we're able to move out and actually stay in the Thrift Market. We're able to Shiny Hunt for our final Steel type Pokemon, which is going to be a Shiny Klefki. We're able to add this Klefki onto our team as the final member, and it's not the best Shiny, but it'll be serviceable, as we're able to face off against Nanu next. Nanu is going to be the Dark type Kahuna of the island, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Klefki. Klefki surprisingly is actually a big wall to Sableye, as I'm able to actually Draining Kiss it down, set up some spikes to do some chip damage for his next Pokemon, but eventually knock out his Sableye, and then his next Pokemon will be a Krokorok, which should have been a Crocodile, in my opinion. But I go out into my Skarmory. Skarmory is able to 1v1 the Krokorok, and then his next Pokemon will be an Alolan Persian, which I don't have an answer to him. I decided to go out into my Nosepass. I take a Black Hole's Eclipse, but since I'm obviously have an Eviolite, I'm able to survive it pretty easily and get a Thunder Wave off against him. Get a Thunder Wave? Okay, there we go. Finally a Thunder Wave off against him, and then switch out into my Magneton and do a lot of damage and end up knocking out the Persian using my Magneton. And Magneton's such a sick Pokemon. I love Magneton and Magnezone, just amazing Pokemon. It actually is the Guzma killer, as I'm able to knock down Guzma with just my Magneton and face off against him once again at the Aether Foundation. We're able to clear through most of his team using my Magneton, surprisingly. And then from there, the last Pokemon on his team will be a Masquerain, which I'm able to knock out with my Dugtrio. Now, unfortunately though, we face off against Lusamine next. Lusamine is going to be the big boss at the Aether Foundation, which shouldn't be too difficult, but unfortunately most of my teammates get paralyzed and get lower HP by the Lilligant, so that was poorly played by me. But from there, the Milotic is her final Pokemon, and it does so much damage to, firstly, my Magneton with Hydro Pump, and I'm unable to get it paralyzed with my Discharge off against the Milotic because it uses Safeguard. So I decided to switch out into my Klefki. If it dodges a Hydro Pump, I'm able to just go for a Draining Kiss and hopefully knock out the Milotic in 2 shots. Unfortunately, it did not miss its Hydro Pump, so I gotta let my Klefki die. I need a free switch into my Dugtrio, which is able to bulldoze into the Milotic and knock him out in 1 shot, as we're able to beat down Lusamine, but unfortunately lose one of our Pokemon. But we could fix that problem as we evolve a lot of our Pokemon. We evolve our Nosepass into finally a Steel type Pokemon in a Probopass, and evolve our Magneton into a Magnezone. And also, since my Skarmory has some very lacking moves, I decided to actually go out and buy a bunch of new moves: Swords Dance, Roost, Aerial Ace, U-Turn, some great moves to have just in case. And then from there, we're going to move out and face off against the final Kahuna. We're going to face off against Hapu next. Hapu is going to be the ground type Kahuna of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Metagross, my newly got Metagross. We're just going to start the battle off against us using a lone Dugtrio. I'm able to Brick into him and one-shot him. And then her next Pokemon will be a Mudstail. I switch out to my Skarmory. I switched out twice just to bait in the Z ground move, as I'm able to switch out into my Skarmory and get set up multiple times, eventually getting my HP back up as well. The bad thing with Roost is that I lose my flying type, and that's a lot of resistance for me as well. So double kick actually becomes super effective against me, but I am able to knock out the Mudstail and also the Gastrodon on Hapu's team. And then I realized that Flygon doesn't have any damaging move against me. I end up roosting off against the Flygon and end up knocking him out with a bunch of Aerial Aces, as we're able to beat down Hapu and finish off the Kahunas. Now next up, we're going to actually head into the vast Pony Canyon. And the first trainer in here has a Torkoal with Drought, so a bunch of fire types that's going to beat up my team pretty easily. I need to waste a bunch of Sunny Day turns, as I'm able to switch out into my Dugtrio to eventually knock out his Arcanine, but we almost lost a bunch of Pokemon from that, just from the very first battle in the cave. From there, we're going to face off against the Totem Como, which is going to be the final totem of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Metagross. We're just going to Zen Headbutt into him and just knock him out in 2 shots. Super simple, and lucky enough, the Scizor did not do enough damage with the Pursuit, as I'm able to switch out to my Magnezone and knock out the Scizor. This definitely could have gone dicey, I'm not gonna lie. From there, we're gonna face off against Lusamine next, and Lusamine ironically this time is actually easier, as I send out my Metagross next. Metagross is able to just knock out the Clefable. It takes a few turns, yes, but I do get a plus attack boost, and that should be the end of it, as I'm able to knock out the Miss Magius and also the Beware, also the Lilligant, and finally the Milotic, and things are super easy for me. We're able to beat down Lucami and head into Victory Road next. We're going to face off against a Gladion first. Gladion gets swept by my Skarmory set, which is Aerial Ace, Swords Dance, Roost. Crazy set. I think it also has agility actually, so I'm able to actually outspeed everything and knock everything out from Gladion's team. And then we're going to face out against the Elite Four next. Now the Elite Four is actually pretty challenging. We're going to start our Elite Four challenge off against Hala. Hala is going to be the fighting type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against his Hariyama using my Metagross. It gets faked out, but I'm able to Zen Headbutt into him and knock him out in one shot, because Metagross is such a monster. His next Pokemon is going to be a Primate. I take a Cross Shot from him, and he dodges a Zen Headbutt, of course. I get to hit him up with a second one following it, and I'm able to knock out the Primate. His next Pokemon is going to be a Beware, and I switch out to my Skarmory, which was a bad play. Bad play. But honestly, Hala is probably the hardest member on the entire Elite Four because he's fighting type. So me getting a win off against him is going to be kind of difficult anyways. And I end up having to Aerial Ace him and knock him out using my Skarmory, which it's a tough one. But I basically have to sack my Skarmory here as he sends out his Crabominable, and he's obviously going to Z-move into me. At the start of the game, he forgot to Z me. He's going to make up for it right now as his Crabominable was able to knock me out in one shot. And I'm obviously going to switch out into my Magnet Zone. Magnet Zone able to Flash Cannon, knock out the Crabominable, and then knock out the Poliwrath for us as we're able to beat down Hala. Unfortunately, lose one of my favorite Pokemon because I came up with the Swords Dance Roost set. Just to sweep people. I thought it was going to do more damage. Unfortunately, I lose in the first Elite Four battle. From there, we're going to face off against Olivia next. Olivia is going to be the second Elite Four member we're going to face off against. She's obviously a Rock type trainer, so we're going to start the battle off against her using my Metagross. Now, Metagross gets a Brick Break off against a Relicanth and also gets a Meteor Mash attack boost, but I can't stay in because it's going to go to sleep, so I can't risk that at all. Maybe I should have. Thinking back to it, maybe I should have, but I went into my Magnet Zone next. Magnet Zone's getting one shot into the Relicanth, and then she switched out into her Probopass. I Volt Switch into my Metagross and take an Earth Power, but lucky enough, I know it's 4 times weak to fighting, so Brick Break should kill the Probopass, so that's pretty nice. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Lightning Rock, which I know is going to go for a Z-move trying to kill my Metagross. I switch out to my Probopass. It goes for a counter against me, so I could just keep using some special moves against him. I'm going to chip it down using Discharge, which is kind of funny. Eventually, I'm going to actually switch out into my Dugtrio, which I haven't used in a minute now. I'm able to Earthquake into the Lightning Rock and knock him out in one shot. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Carbink, which I have Iron Head for. It's going to be 4 times weak to it, and I'm able to knock him out. And then her last Pokemon will be a Lone Golem. I go for a Flinch to break his 30. It didn't work out, but I'm able to Earthquake into him and knock him out as well, as we're able to beat down Olivia without any incidents at all. Next up, we're going to face off against Accelera next. Accelera is giving me the Ghost type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Magnet Zone. Magnet Zone is able to, unfortunately, get confused and flinched by the Sableye, but I'm able to Thunder Wave into him and then switch out into my Probopass against her, as I don't know what I'm doing. I switch out into my Dugtrio. Oh, Dugtrio has Workup. What a terrible set. I'm going for multiple Workups in front of the Sableye, and then I'm going to Earthquake into the Sableye after getting 4 different Workups up to get a +4 on my Dugtrio. And then, oh, okay, I see what I'm going to do. I'm going for a Shadow Claw against the Palutena to knock him out in one shot, and then hopefully I'll outspeed the Frostlass. I don't. It's going to hit me with a Blizzard and knock out my poor Dugtrio. Well, that was poorly planned. I thought it was going to be a little faster than that. I go to my Metagross next, which, you know what, thinking back, I should have gone to this in the first place, as it's going to confuse right into my Metagross. I hit myself in confusion, of course, and then take a hefty Shadow Ball. Lucky enough, I break through confusion the second time. I'm able to Meteor Mash into her Frostlass and knock him out. And then her next Pokemon will be a Delmise. I can't stay it in, obviously. I go to my Probopass. I'm able to stall the Delmise. Thinking back to it, I should have got Toxic for my Probopass. As you can see, Thunder Wave is not cutting it at all. But I'm able to Flash Cannon into the Delmise using my Magnet Zone to knock him out. And then the final Pokemon will be a Drifloon, as I'm able to 2-shot it using Discharge, as we're able to beat down Accelera and finish off the 3rd Elite Four member. Next up, we're going to face off against Kahili next. Kahili's giving me the Flying type Elite 4 member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her Skarmory using my Magnet Zone. It does hit me and break my Sturdy. I'm able to Flash Cannon and then discharge into the Skarmory to knock him out, which is kind of huge. And then her next Pokemon will be a Mana Buzz. It goes for a Bone Rush. Surprisingly enough, it does a lot of damage for a Bone Rush. It's 4 times weak to him, so obviously can do a lot of damage. I'm able to discharge into the Mana Buzz and eventually knock him out, which is nice. Her next Pokemon will be an Oricorio, which is Fire type in this. It's in this Fire type form, so I decided to switch out into my Probopass. It gets hits with a Spike and also a Revelation Dance, as I'm able to get a Paralyze off against him, and then I end up resting up and just healing my HP, trying to avoid all the problems at all. And then eventually I'm gonna go for a Stone Edge against the Oricorio, one-shotting it, which is nice. Her next Pokemon will be a Toucannon. I go for an immediate Thunder Wave. It misses. Beak Blast, luckily enough, does not do a lot of damage. I'm able to actually stall out the Toucannon, just rest up whenever I need to. Take a Supersonic Sky Strike, which is nice. Paralyze it as well, and then I'm able to just discharge and Stone Edge into him, eventually knocking out the Toucannon, which is nice. And then her next and final Pokemon will be a Crobat. Crobat cannot do any damage against me. It's flinching me a lot, which is very annoying. And eventually I need to, I really risked it here. I don't know why I risked it, but I shouldn't have done that. I went into my Metagross, which I know it can't really hit me at all. So I'm able to Zen Headbutt into him and end up knocking out the Crobat, as we're able to beat down the Elite Four, and now we face off against the champion. Now the champion in this game is going to be Professor Kukui, and he's going to start the battle off against us using a Lycanroc always. So we're going to start the battle off against him using my Metagross. Now Metagross, I'm really hoping for a Meteor Mash plus attack. Unfortunately, I don't get that on the first turn. I face off against his Snorlax next. I'm able to Brick into him, and actually does over half, so I decided to just go, you know what? Go for it. Decided to just go for it. Meteor Mash into him and get a plus attack stat against him, and that is going to basically seal me the game, as I'm able to Brick into the Magnet Zone next. Magnet Zone obviously is going for a Paralyze against me, and I'm a Brick once again. Survive a Thunderbolt. I pop my Citrus Berry and then Brick into the Magnet Zone to knock him out. His next Pokemon will be his starter Pokemon, which is going to be a Primarina. He's going to obviously knock out my poor Metagross. Even though I get some chip damage off against him, he's going to Hydro Vortex into me, end up knocking out my poor Metagross as I go out to my Magnet Zone next. Magnet Zone is able to obviously knock out the Primarina and also the Ninetales. Huge plays by me. And then his final Pokemon will be a Braviary, which is a Flying type Pokemon. Doesn't have superpower. I think it has Brave Bird. I don't think it has anything else besides that to attack me. So I have a Rock and Steel type Pokemon and a Steel and Electric type Pokemon. I'm able to knock out Braviary for sure, and ending up beating down Professor Kukui at the top of the summit, and we end up being the champion of Alola. Our team pretty depleted. Unfortunately, we lose a lot of Pokemon along our way in this journey, but lucky enough, we end up beating the challenge at least, and we end 2022 on a dub, as we're able to beat Pokemon Sun Hardcore Nuzlocke using only shiny Steel type Pokemon only. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. My voice is very shot. I'm very tired. Happy New Year's to everyone. Happy holidays. Happy New Year's to everyone. My name's been Alpha. I'm gonna go to bed right now. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much for 40,000 subscribers. And if you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name's Alpha. I'm out. Peace.